The DISC assessment is a personality profile. It tells you basically how to connect with other people, how to understand yourself, the best types of roles, the best types of jobs for yourself. It tells you a lot. And it's important to know your own style because everyone falls into one of the 4 categories. It's also important to know the style of the person you're talking to, so you know how best to communicate with them. If you're in sales, how to persuade them, how to connect with them. It's so valuable as a resource. Now, as a speaker, you can use this to your advantage because every crowd that you speak in front of, every time you speak in your audience, everyone is represented by one of those 4 types. The problem is you don't have time to go give a DISC assessment to everybody in your audience. So you want to try to speak to everybody, to all personality types. And there's a way to do it. I call it the 4 Fs. There's an F for each of the personality types, and if you include all 4 of these things in your speaking, you will connect with and motivate and inspire and persuade, if you need to, all of the people in your audience. So let's get into it. The first type is your dominance type. Your D type is the dominant person, the forceful person, the leader, the person who needs minimal instructions, who just wants high-level overviews, who's outspoken at times, can be a little bit brash. This is the least popular type. However, these are the leaders of the organization, the person who is the driver, the visionary, the D person. What do you need to do as a speaker? You need to use F number 1, which is force. And it doesn't mean you're forcing your ideas down people's throats, but you just want to make sure you sound confident when you speak. So we're not going to use words like maybe I should or I think this is the right thing to do. You're going to say things confidently from your experience, from your research. Make sure you come across confidently. And the ways to do that are easily, don't use those words like maybe, should, I'm not sure. Don't use filler words. Be succinct, be direct with the way you say your words in your speech. And you get that by practicing, by rehearsing, and just make sure that you present your ideas. And if you do that confidently, you will talk to the Ds in your audience. I is for your influence. These types are your enthusiastic people. They are trusting, they're energetic. They're the people in your crowd that are probably going to put up their hands the most when you're telling stories. The Fs that you want to remember in your speech for these types are your feelings and your funny. So storytelling, bringing out the humor in your stories, engaging your crowd. I'm not saying this is not going to apply to other letters, but it's definitely going to apply to your influential types in your audience. So make sure you have stories. No matter what kind of speech you're giving, stories, a little bit of humor, some light moments, that's going to respond to the eyes in your crowd. Your next personality type is S for steadiness. According to statistics, this is the most popular type of person that you're going to have in your workplace or in your audience when you're speaking. These people are all about cooperation, calmness, they are deliberate, and what they want are facts and stats. So if you can bring in a quote from an author you've read or a statistic or a study that was done, they like to see this. They like to see, hey, this is not just someone standing up and speaking, but according to research, what I'm telling you is 68% of people do da-da-da-da-da. So they are gonna like those facts. They're gonna like the statistics because it helps them to organize in their mind that what you're saying has credibility and can be believed. So make sure you have some of those facts and statistics in your speeches and your stories to make sure you talk to that type of person. This brings us to the last personality type, conscientiousness, your C. I am a C. So if you're wondering which one I'm under, I have done the tests many times and I'm a C. We are independent people. We like to work on our own, but we like the steps laid out for us. We like details, we like accuracy. And if you're a C, I would encourage you to go online and find out what type you are, because chances are you actually write your speeches in the type of personality that you are already. What do I mean by that? I'm a C, so I have a tendency to write out 3 steps to this, 5 steps to this, 4 Ps for this, because the last F, the C's like formulas. So when you're about to give a keynote, at the beginning of your keynote, make sure you lay out a roadmap. We're going to talk about 3 steps to living your best life, 5 steps to achieving your goal. Whatever it is, lay it out for them. Give them the formula beforehand so that they in their minds can say, okay, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. Your C's and your audience will love that. Other people will love that as well, but your C's are definitely going to be all over that. And here's an extra bonus tip. If you are asked to give a description for a program, for a conference, so say there's a breakout session and audience members have 4 or 5 different workshops they can choose from, you include these F's in your description. So have something forceful. What are you going to talk about? What are they going to leave with? Something definite. That's for your D's. You want to have feelings and funny. A, you're going to have an engaging presentation. That's going to talk to the I's that are reading the program. You want to have facts and stats. Maybe there's a fact in there, or a stat. Studies show that 57% of people aren't happy on a daily basis. Okay, the S's might choose your workshop based on that. And finally, you can say something like, hey, in this workshop, you're going to pick up 3 steps that are going to leave you more engaged every single day. So you have all of these things represented, and no matter what DISC personality type is reading that brochure, chances are, then that doesn't mean they're all going to come to your workshop, but I've spoken at conferences where I've been the most attended workshop, and I wouldn't say it's because I'm the best speaker there, but I do make sure that I tell them what they're going to get in the program. I deliver on stage, but there are other speakers that do that too, but sometimes they fall off in writing the description of what they're going to be talking about. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if this helps you. Go out, do a DISC assessment, find out what your personality is, find out what your audience members' personalities are if it's a small group, but if it's a big group, just use the F's and you'll be fine.